Once again, the indoor wine cap experiment was successful, but the mushrooms did grow a little different this time compared to last time. Many of these mushrooms came up at different times. This was the first mushroom to come up there. You can see it's pretty big. They are dropping spores all over the ground, so they are past their prime when it comes to eating, whereas we have some smaller mushrooms like the one hiding here and possibly these two over here that we can eat. In order to make this video, I had to allow these mushrooms to grow, so I had something to film, which means some of these mushrooms are not going to be edible. So last time when we did these mushrooms, it took about 40 days or so to go from putting the spawn into the container to getting mushrooms. This time was quite a bit longer, more like 50 to 60 days for this. It's been a couple months with these. I learned that originally we did not have enough of our substrate at the bottom of this container. You can see we were only filled up to about there. I had to come back later on and about double it, and it's still a little bit less than it was with the first experiment, but we're trying to find the least amount of materials to use to make this work. And if you remember, this side was just going to be shredded cardboard and some soil. I did end up throwing a little bit of moldy straw in there. Looks like there's a little bit more mushrooms on this side with all the different ingredients compared to just the shredded cardboard and a little bit of straw on top there. When I noticed the pinning, my flushing technique was the same this time as last time. When the mushrooms started to pin, I took this lid off here. I took away anything around here so light can get in here. And then I flooded my mushrooms with some rainwater. So we found out even indoors we have to simulate some kind of flushing situation for these mushrooms. Now outside, in the springtime, when you get the heavy rains, that's going to cause these guys to flush when that ground gets really saturated, or a big temperature change. Now there is no temperature change in this basement. It stays about the same temperature all season long, so we went with the flooding. Now it's not too much, but I saturate these a lot more than just spraying them. I'm pouring about an inch of water onto the bottom of this. So let's go ahead and let's get the mushrooms that are going to be the proper size to eat. As long as they are not dropping spores yet, I'm going to try them. Got that little guy popping up there. Give him about 10 hours and he'll be about that big. If I'm growing mushrooms, I highly prefer growing these inside than outside. I found out that even though thousands of these will pop up in my garden, the slugs will eat them before I even have a chance to harvest them. So at least inside here, I can get these before the other creatures do. So that is the mushroom update video. Some people were asking if this worked again. Yes, it did. We got mushrooms. We are going to keep getting mushrooms coming up in here so long as we keep this nice and damp. And with all this black spore material down here, I could keep adding stuff in here and keep getting more mushrooms if I wanted to. So I'll be cooking these up today and eating these mushrooms. Big boys like this that are dropping spores right now, these are not going to go to waste. They'll be composted. I'll be burying these around the garden to get even more wine caps growing all over the place. And I'll be taking pieces of this when I'm planting some of my tomatoes and peppers and mixing it into the planting holes to get the mycorrhizal fungi going in there. Stay tuned for all of that, and thanks for watching.